but I'm an absolute expert on what the customer is looking for. I'm passionate about retail. I've worked in retail since I was 11, and I've won a lot of awards based on research I've done into customer habits. So if we look at your customer, do you understand your customer? And in terms of fighting back, I find it very difficult to work from a fighting perspective, as in fighting back. I look at it in terms of, you've got something marvellous going on. The change in Irish lifestyles is absolutely buying into your profitability at the moment. But I really believe you're not grasping that. When I walk into one of your shops, and we had a picture of Nevin Maguire earlier on, we see Nevin and we see the lovely dish, but it doesn't really register with us that it's done stores. It looks like one of those other photographs that's in front of any of the food magazines that we're bombarded with all of the time. So even that Nevin holding the tray picture is good for you, because it's feeding into your customers' aspirations. And I really don't believe that your staff understand that or know how to nudge the customer into purchasing more when they're with you. A few simple facts. Somebody walks into your shop, your till is going to be, your till is going to open. They're going to open their bag and take out their wallet. So why aren't they doing that a bit more? How are they nudged during that visit into purchasing for tomorrow and the following day? Because if they're buying meat one day, they're probably eating meat 5 days a week. And chances are they're not buying it from you 5 days a week. But let's say if you engage with your customer, you made some comment relevant to their choices, and you have inertia when you go in somewhere and you're not familiar with the expertise that the butcher has. You go into default, you buy the same kind of things, unless you're nudged. And that's missing, I think, when you go into butchers. And there's a lot of things like that that can be looked at. We look at making new suggestions, how you bring credibility to what you're doing. If you throw in something complimentary, do you explain what it is, as opposed to the person? It sometimes happens in the butcher shops, you get something complimentary and you walk away saying, when is this going out of date? I wonder what's the story here. Explain your value, explain what you do really well, and work from a very positive perspective.
Very much for that. I suppose in terms of fighting back, again, I'd agree with you. It's not necessarily about fighting back, it's about reinforcing and communicating to your customers how you're different. And I suppose just a couple of minutes ago I was talking to Barry Kerrigan a little while ago just about how much marketing has evolved and changed over the past 10 years. So if I was sitting here 10 years ago, I'd probably mention website, possibly search engine optimization. But the way marketing has gone now and the way retailers need to market now is primarily online. And that's not to suggest that you don't need to do promotions in store. It doesn't suggest for a minute that that customer interaction isn't as important as it always was. But if you do not have digital marketing ingrained into your marketing activity, your communication with your staff, and with everything that you do, you really are going to struggle to compete. And again, that's not to suggest you have to be trading online to be using digital marketing to communicate. Trading online takes a lot of work, and butchers who have developed e-commerce websites that haven't, unfortunately, have the resources or the people to manage it, don't succeed as well as they should. However, you can still communicate your shop, your offering, your point of difference. All of that can be communicated very effectively using platforms that you're all familiar with, such as Facebook, Snapchat, etc. Video is another thing to be very aware of. So in terms of, I suppose, fighting back, just to sum up, it's very much about fighting back from a marketing perspective by going where your customer is now, and for a large portion of your customers that is online, and very much when we say online, you're looking at a device, you're not even talking about your desktop.
I'm a great believer of the butchers all talking to each other, and I've been doing it for years. I'm getting married or getting into James's shop, and all the butchers, they love sharing ideas, and But Fergus McQueen used to say years ago, step outside your shop, step in front of your counter, have a look at your displays, get out of your own shop and share ideas with each other. And I've seen workers go home rejuvenated, and they're all excited again. They're not, all these new ideas, and you really have to interact. Whole Foods in London, they have a huge big sign in the window saying, "Our butcher's season for free." Have you ever told any of your customers this? You know, there's so much stuff that you should be telling. It's telling the story, like, you know, just where you're getting your meat from, and it's just like I'm working with a coffee shop. I did a couple of stores. They're actually sending their staff back and training them to talk to their customer again. And it's all about little upselling. It doesn't have to be a hard sell. You're buying the beef, you're telling them the story about where the beef is coming from, and then the little add-on sales with your gratin potatoes, and you know, it's just very important. You're not butchers, you're business people as well. You have to just sell the whole story of your shop.
The number of abattoirs left in this country is now down to about 180. 15 years ago, you were close to 1,000 abattoirs. The abattoir as a source of differentiation, smaller abattoirs for butchers, is critical. I think, Conor, you'll agree from the point of view of authenticity of product. Abattoirs are way underutilized by butchers that have abattoirs, and a network of abattoirs supplying a network of butchers is part of the aspiration. Authenticity, credibility, traceability, these are extremely important. When you look at the analysis and why, from the points that come out in favour of butchers as against multiple retail, there are three key things that come out. Number one is trust. They can trust the butcher, trust the product. Number two is the quality of service, and number three is the product range. So, on national consumer inquiries that were done, these were the three key issues that came out in favour of butchers over the multiple retailers. We are not exploiting that type of information. Is there any questions that anybody would like to put on that? And I think it's important to also emphasise the whole question of store design and rebranding. Quite a number of those projects have been carried out in the last 12 months, and the average increase in sales purely on bringing the shop into the modern age has reflected in sales increases of around 25% on average.
Some 40.
Yeah, but on average 25%.
In case he forgets, I was telling him.
And it's not necessarily about spending a huge amount of money. These guys, refrigeration guys, are listening, but it's not about spending a huge amount of money in refrigeration. It's as much about creating the authentic value statement in your shop about who you are and getting the ambience right in that shop. Conor, is there any additional comments you'd like to make before we wind up?
The whole area of competing where the supermarkets can't compete with a lot of the lesser cuts, a lot of the slow cooked stuff now that thankfully hipsters are bringing it back in, the sort of pulled pork, short ribs, oxtails, all of that. You can make a real margin out of that stuff, and if you can get your customers to cook the stuff properly, that's just a question of giving them a simple recipe for it. They will be back for it again and again and again. And if customers will begin to really trust you for your expertise and being able to bring them stuff that they can't get elsewhere, and that's a real point of difference.
In terms of the cooperation piece, Craft Butchers have taken a number of initiatives in this area. Number one, we have set up central distribution. We have formed a strategic alliance, that's through Wilmay. We have formed a strategic alliance with Zulus Packaging exclusively for butchers in terms of price competitiveness. Thirdly, we have set up Lovely Local, which is an initiative currently under trial in conjunction with the Waterford leader, local enterprise, where we have established a whole branding format for supporting local suppliers within the individual butcher shops. We have also put out there for discussion the concept of a craft butcher brand exclusive to our members, where we have products of top quality. First ideas pertaining to that you can see at the craft butcher stand, but the notion here is we need to buy competitively, better quality products, and start competing as a professional group, as distinct from letting individuals out there fighting back on their own. Okay? Julie has leaflets there in relation to Loving Local, which is an initiative you'll all be aware of as time goes on. And if you go to the craft butcher stand just there in the corner, you will see samples of the concept that we're intending to introduce in relation to craft butcher products themselves. Any comment from the floor or any questions from the floor?
I have a suggestion. The fact that we have all the relevant people in one place. The spice beef competition is on today.
Yeah.
Whoever wins the spice beef competition, they share their recipes. We will all sell the same spice beef. Sheila can have a market. Connor can write it down. Well, butchers can market. Connor Legend sisters can create a label. We'll put this theory to the test. What happens today? What business?
Well, if
for the market, the butchers can say the best spice beef Ireland has to offer, better than what they can have delivered, better than all the supermarkets. So we can market that as it. We'll test this theory today. Here.
Just to make sure everybody hear what Shane said there. What Shane is suggesting is that the winner of the Spice Beef competition should look at sharing the recipe, and that we should avail of the expertise here from the point of view of marketing, from the point of view of blogging and so forth, and make that a national promotion for butchers for Christmas in terms of the ultimate spice beef. Barry, if you win this today, would you be prepared to share your recipe? You would. Okay. But no, that's a wonderful suggestion. And the only thing that will come against us doing it is the willingness of the winner to share that recipe.
Well, I should be able to share those. I can't hear about this. I cannot
Jack wants the microphone. I just backed up Shane. And no, that it is important that the butchers do come together. And if somebody steps above, puts their head above the parapet, that we all get a bit of that we can all kind of get the best products that are around. So we'll encourage people to go forward with better products, and then all of the butchers can benefit from that together.
Just to add to that, the guy who does win the spice beef competition, okay, it's not just competition, not a more competition. So we encourage guys to be more creative. There has to be some reward for the guys who put the effort in to create the products. He might get some sort of reward or a loyalty or a royalty or sort of a commission or something. Yeah. So that Julie's the marketeer specialist in the companies. We leave it to Julie to come up with a fair and equitable sort of solution. Just to encourage people to be creative and to want to be in it. That is the prize. Just to get something out of it.
Nobody's going to keep talking. Just with the open forum here of butchers together from all over Ireland, I would like to ask how we get butchers on a national level to engage more. You look at the participation, where it's great to see the effort of the whole ACBI team here today. It's fantastic, the setup, the location, everything. I would just like to know what more can be done to get butchers to engage more, to participate, and really